Hello everyone, I am Pratap here. Today is 30 April 2025. In this video, I am going to generate different supply demand zone reports useful to the premium subscribers. And today is also month ending. I will be generating few additional monthly reports when we are generating stocks near monthly demand and supply zones. Even before that, all of you please note we are providing complete free training on supply demand zone price action. And all the training lessons are already available at our NeoStock YouTube channel. To access the training lessons at our channel homepage, click on the tab Posts. Some of you might be seeing Community tab. In that case, click on the tab. Then you get access to this post. This post is having a YouTube playlist link that will take you to all the training lessons. You just click on the link. Now we are into supply demand zone price action course. Here you have all the training lessons are available. You just scroll down to the bottom of the page. Here starting from lesson 1.1, all the training lessons are placed in an order. So please go through all these lessons one by one, but according to my training instructions. All the training instructions are available at our NeoStock Telegram channel. I provided the link to our Telegram channel in this video description. Join at our Telegram channel. At the top of the Telegram channel window, you can find pinned messages. Go to the pinned messages. There you have all the training instructions are available. Learn this course according to those training instructions. Then you will become a very good independent trader in the coming months time period. Please make use of this opportunity. Okay, now I am going to generate different supply demand zone reports with the help of NeoStock Software Supply Demand Zone Top-Down Analysis Strategy Builder. Okay, the first we are going to find the stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames. For daily and above time frame, we will also identify price closed inside the demand and supply zones, and also we will filter those zones based on the EMA confluence, so that we can identify high probability trade setup supported zones. Okay, starting with the yearly time frame, price closed inside the yearly demand zone, we got 4 stocks. I am giving you only few seconds time to watch the report, so I request you pause the video, study the reports, and after that you can proceed to the next reports. So please follow this rule for the entire video. And also those who don't understand the structure of this report, I request you complete the training lesson 21.1. That is part 1 of lesson 21. In that video, I have explained each and every column, their values, abbreviations in detail. Okay, next. Price closed inside the yearly supply zone, no stocks are filtered. Next time frame is half yearly. Stocks near to the half yearly demand zone, no stocks are available. Stocks near to the half yearly supply zone also, no stocks are filtered. Price closed inside the half yearly demand zone, we got 3 stocks. Next, price closed inside the half yearly supply zone, we got 4 stocks. Okay, next time frame is quarterly. Stocks near to the quarterly demand zone, 1 stock is filtered. Next, stocks near to the quarterly supply zone, we got 5 stocks. Next, price closed inside the quarterly demand zone, we got 20 stocks. Okay, to find the high probability setup quarterly demand zone, let us filter based on the quarterly demand zone having quarterly EMA confluence. So I am going back in the EMA confluence parameter at quarterly time frame. I am selecting quarterly demand zone is having quarterly EMA confluence. At the same time, EMA confluence should not be used in sideways. Sideways, the EMA confluence does not give any advantage. That is what you learned in our training videos. So that is the reason why in the trend at a quarterly time frame, I am not selecting sideways. Instead, up or down I am selecting with these filters. Now the list is come down to 9 stocks. So these 9 quarterly demand zones might be having a little more high probability to get success. Of course, you should also use other strategies that you learn in your course. Okay, next, for quarterly time frame, price closed inside the quarterly supply zone. We got 13 stocks. Let us filter this list based on quarterly supply zone having quarterly EMA confluence. So in the EMA confluence at quarterly, I am selecting this time quarterly supply zone having quarterly EMA confluence. And also trend on the quarterly should not be sideways, it can be up or down. Now the list is come down to 4 stocks. This is about quarterly time frame. And the next time frame is a monthly. And today is the end of the month. I will be generating few additional monthly related reports during this process. So please look into the additional monthly reports. They might be helpful to you for your trading analysis. Okay, for monthly time frame, stocks near to the monthly demand zone, we got 3 stocks. Next, stocks near to the monthly supply zone, we got 10 stocks. Next, price closed inside the monthly demand zone. First 17 stocks in the list. So total 25 stocks are filtered. Okay, we can further filter this list based on monthly demand zones having monthly EMA confluence. Now the list is come down to 8 stocks. All these 8 monthly demand zones are having monthly EMA confluence. And also current price closed in those monthly demand zones. Price closed inside the demand and supply zones. So how to make use of those kind of reports, I explained in lesson 29. Maybe lesson 29.7 video or 29.6. Please check one of those videos. Okay, next, monthly time frame, price closed inside the monthly supply zone. First 15 stocks in the list. Nifty 50 is also there in this list. I am scrolling the list down. Total 26 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list based on monthly supply zones having monthly EMA confluence. So I am going back In the EMA Confluence at monthly time frame, I am setting the filter monthly supply zone having monthly EMA Confluence, and also trend on the monthly time frame should not be sideways, it should be up or down. With these filters, now the list is come down to 13 stocks. These 13 monthly supply zones are having a monthly EMA Confluence. At the same time, current prices are closed inside those monthly supply zones. And Nifty 50 is also having monthly supply zone, having monthly EMA Confluence. Okay, next we will generate few additional reports because today is the end of the month. So first let us identify the tested monthly demand zones during this week. The stocks having tested monthly demand zones. So these 17 monthly demand zones are tested during this week. Not only the monthly demand zones are tested, after testing prices, see here Wipro price moved near to the supply zone. It might have given you good profit. So what happened in these zones? If you are having interest, you can analyze these stocks. Some might be moving towards the supply zone. Some might be price closed inside the zones. Some zones might have been pierced. Those zones will be helpful to you identifying the traps. All the concepts you learned in advanced strategies between lesson 21 to 29 will be helpful to you here. You can apply those concepts. Okay, similarly, next, let us identify the stocks having the tested monthly supply zones. So first 15 monthly supply zones, first 15 stocks having monthly supply zones tested during this week. Scrolling the list down. So total 22 stocks having monthly supply zones are tested during this week. See RBL Bank, the supply zone is tested and now price moved near to the demand zone. That means this zone might have given you a very good profit during this month. Okay, next we will find the stocks having newly created monthly demand and supply zones. So monthly time frame. Let us find the stocks having newly created monthly demand zones. 16 stocks are filtered. These 16 monthly demand zones are having newly created monthly demand zones. Similarly, let us find the stocks having newly created monthly supply zones. Monthly time frame. Let us find the stocks having newly created monthly supply zones. So these two stocks are having newly created monthly supply zones. Next, we will identify long-term investment point of view. Let us filter the stocks. Excuse me. The monthly zones that are having zone confluence based monthly zones. Monthly, quarterly and yearly zone confluence supported stocks. Similarly, after that supply zone confluence. Monthly, quarterly and yearly. Okay, first monthly time frame. We are looking for demand zones, right? So in the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. Let us assume monthly is the entry time frame. Of course, you will fine tune and you will, for your risk management point of view, you will plan your trades. But if you assume monthly is the entry time frame zone, so monthly, weekly and monthly, quarterly and yearly filters we have to set. First, monthly demand zone with quarterly demand zone confluence, I enable the filter. Next, monthly demand zone with yearly demand zone also I filtered. And then quarterly demand zone and yearly demand zone confluence also I filtered. So total we set 3 filters. So that means monthly zone should overlap with the quarterly zone, and both monthly and quarterly together they should overlap with yearly zone. So that's why 3 filters we set. So with these 3 filters, we got 16 stocks. In these 16 stocks, monthly demand zone is overlapped with quarterly demand zone. Both together again overlapped with yearly demand zone. And if you want to further filter this list, you can add even EMA confluence on the yearly time frame. If yearly demand zone having yearly EMA confluence. But the problem is, if you want to filter based on the EMA confluence on the yearly, 20 years minimum data is required, then you get 1 yearly point. So maybe that is not a good idea. Looking for EMA confluence on yearly. Of course, we have some stocks data from 1994, it is there. So that means 30 years EMA points we will get, but that is not good enough to filter based on the EMA. So that's why let me leave it. Just look into the trends here. Still, if you want to filter, let us check EMA confluence on yearly time frame. Yearly demand zone having yearly, and trend on the yearly should not be sideways, it can be up or down. 10 stocks are filtered. Okay. Similarly, let us look into supply zone confluence. Monthly time frame, let us assume it is the entry time frame. Now monthly, quarterly and yearly supply zone confluence filters we have to select. First, monthly supply zone with quarterly supply zone confluence. Monthly supply zone with yearly supply zone confluence. And quarterly supply zone with yearly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we did not get any stocks. Okay. So this is about monthly reports. Next, weekly. Entry time frame weekly. Let us find the stocks near to the weekly demand zone. We got 14 stocks. Next, stocks near to the weekly supply zone, we got 11 stocks. Okay, next, price closed inside the weekly demand zone, we got 9 stocks. And let us further filter this list based on weekly EMA Confluence. So EMA Confluence at weekly, checking weekly demand zone, having weekly EMA Confluence. At the same time, the trend on the weekly should not be sideways. So it can be up or down. So 4 stocks are filtered. These 4 weekly demand zones are having weekly EMA Confluence, and also current price closed inside those weekly demand zones. Maybe that is the reason why Tata Chemicals is already tested 3 times. It is a high liquidity zone. Okay. Next, weekly time frame, price closed inside the weekly supply zone. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 63 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list based on weekly supply zones having weekly EMA Confluence. I'm going back in the EMA Confluence at weekly time frame. I'm setting the filter weekly supply zone having weekly EMA Confluence. At the same time, trend on the weekly should not be sideways. It can be up or down. Now list is reduced. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 24 stocks are filtered. So this is about weekly time frame. Next time frame is daily. Entry time frame daily. Let us find the stocks near to the daily demand zone. We got 9 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity daily demand zones from this list. Canara Bank is having a daily high liquidity demand zone. Shriram Finance is having a daily high liquidity demand zone. That's it. We identified 2 daily high liquidity demand zones from this list. Okay, next, for daily time frame, let us find the stocks near to the daily supply zone. We got 12 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity daily supply zones from this list. L&T is having a daily high liquidity supply zone. That's it. We identified only one daily high liquidity supply zone from this list. Okay, next, for daily time frame, price closed inside the daily demand zone. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 41 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list based on daily demand zones having daily EMA Confluence. And also trend on the daily should not be sideways. It can be up or down. Now the list is reduced. First 16 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. Total 18 stocks are filtered. Okay, next, for daily time frame, Price closed inside the daily supply zone. First 15 stocks in the list. I'm scrolling the list down. So total 42 stocks are filtered. We can further filter this list based on daily supply zone having daily EMA Confluence. And also trend on the daily should not be sideways. It can be up or down. So with these filters, the list is come down to 8 stocks. These 8 daily supply zones are having daily EMA Confluence and current price closed inside those daily supply zones. So this is about daily time frame. The next time frame is 125 minutes. Stocks near to the 125 minutes demand zone. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. So total 19 stocks are filtered. Next, stocks near to the 125 minute supply zone. We got 16 stocks. First 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. Okay. The next time frame is 75 minutes. Entry time frame 75 minutes. Let us find the stocks near to the 75 minutes demand zone. So first 15 stocks in the list. Scrolling the list down. Total 19 stocks are filtered. Let us identify 75 minutes high liquidity demand zones from this list. Colpol is having a high liquidity demand zone. HR Motor is having a high liquidity zone. HAL is having a high liquidity zone. LIC is having a high liquidity zone. Manappuram is having a high liquidity zone. Page Industries is having a high liquidity zone. PFC is having a high liquidity zone. So total we identified 7 high liquidity 75 minutes demand zones from this list. Okay. Next, for 75 minutes time frame, let us find the stocks near to the 75 minute supply zone. We got 10 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity supply zones from this list. No, we don't have any 75 minutes high liquidity supply zones from this list. Okay, next time frame is 25 minutes. Stocks near to the 25 minutes demand zone. We got 12 stocks. Next, stocks near to the 25 minute supply zone. We got 7 stocks. Okay, next time frame is 15 minutes. Stocks near to the 15 minutes demand zone. We got 10 stocks. We can further filter based on 15 minutes demand zone having 75 minutes demand zone confluence. By enabling the filter, the list is come down to 7 stocks. All these 15 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 75 minutes demand zones. Okay, next 15 minutes time frame, stocks near to the 15 minute supply zone, we got 3 stocks. Let's verify any of these 15 minute supply zones having confluence with 75 minute supply zone. I am enabling the filter. With this filter, out of 3 stocks, we got only 1 stock. So this 15 minute supply zone overlapped with 75 minute supply zone. But see the RR is very poor. Okay, next time frame is 5 minutes. Stocks near to the 5 minutes demand zone. We got 7 stocks. Let's verify how many of these zones are having ITF demand zone confluence. That is 5 minutes and 15 minutes demand zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. Now 4 stocks are filtered. Out of 4, third one is a pierced zone. You can ignore that zone. Okay, next for 5 minutes time frame, stocks near to the 5 minute supply zone, we got 5 stocks. So let's verify how many of these stocks are having ITF supply zone confluence. That is 5 minutes and 15 minutes supply zone confluence. So I am enabling the filter. With this filter, we got only 1 stock. This 5 minute supply zone overlapped with 15 minute supply zone. But RR is very bad. RR is not good. Okay, this is about stocks near demand and supply zones. Next, we will identify NIFTY and BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. Starting with the NIFTY, I am generating monthly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Okay, this is a NIFTY monthly supply demand zone chain. For any supply demand zone chain report, always look into the zone column to find high liquidity zones, look into the pierced column to find the pierced zones, and look into the LTF trend to find the trend of the current time frame you have selected. And you know one time frame higher is ITF and one more time frame higher is HTF. That way you can understand remaining reports. Okay, next, generating weekly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Okay, next, generating daily supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Okay, next, generating 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Okay, next, generating 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Okay, next, generating 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Okay, next, generating 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Serial number 22 is the nearest demand zone to the current closing price, and serial number 21 is nearest supply zone. So let me put them in the middle of this screen. Okay. Next, generating 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Nifty. The nearest demand zone for the current closing price is serial number 28. Serial number 27 is the nearest supply zone. I am adjusting in the middle of the screen. Okay. So this is about Nifty supply demand zone chain. Next we will generate a Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. So I am going back, changing the name to Nifty Bank and generating a monthly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating a weekly supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating daily supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Okay, next, generating 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, generating 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. So this is a Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. So with this we have completed both Nifty and Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain generation. Next we will look into bullish and bearish trade setups for monthly, weekly, daily and hourly income trades. Starting with bullish trade setup for monthly income trade, entry time frame daily, entry zone demand zone, bullish or bearish trade setup at a daily time frame. I am selecting bullish. Zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd and enhanced score 12. We got 15 stocks. These 15 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for a monthly income trade. And entry time frame zones are daily demand zones. So total we have 15 daily demand zones. Out of these 15 daily demand zones, there could be some high probability trade setup zones might be available. We should filter them. That we will filter based on the zone confluence. So first filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. LTF is daily and ITF is weekly. So daily and weekly demand zone confluence filter we should enable. So in the demand zone confluence, I am enabling the filter daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. By enabling the filter, out of 15 stocks, we got 8 stocks. In these 8 stocks, these daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly demand zones. And a weekly trend, that is ITF trend, is up in all the stocks. So that's why if we further look for weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence, then the overlapped daily demand zone inside those weekly demand zone is having even more high probability to get success. So that we will filter. So in the EMA Confluence at a weekly time frame, I am checking weekly demand zone having weekly EMA Confluence. And daily zone is overlapped inside this weekly zone. And this weekly zone is having weekly EMA Confluence. Let's filter. Anyway, weekly trend is uptrend. So we got 5 stocks. See, weekly trend is up in all the 5 stocks. ITF trend is always up in bullish trade setup. So these 5 daily demand zones might be having more high probability to get success. Maybe that is the reason why some of these demand zones are already tested. Okay. Next we will look into LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence supported stocks, that is daily, weekly and monthly demand zone confluence. So I am going back, removing this weekly EMA confluence filter, and in the demand zone confluence 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled, daily and weekly zone confluence. Next, daily and monthly demand zone confluence, weekly and monthly demand zone confluence. By setting all the 3 filters, we got 3 stocks. In these 3 stocks, these daily demand zones are overlapped with weekly demand zones. Again, both together are overlapped with monthly demand zones. And a monthly trend is uptrend in 2 stocks. So ignore the third one. So in the first 2 stocks, if any of the monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence, then the overlapped daily demand zones might be having more high probability to get success. That we will filter. Going back, in the EMA confluence at monthly time frame, I am checking monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence or not. At the same time, trend on the monthly should be only uptrend but not sideways. Why uptrend? Because it is bullish trade setup. So let's filter. We got both these stocks. So both these monthly demand zones are having more high, both these daily demand zones are having more high probability to get success because they are overlapped with weekly and monthly, and also monthly zone is having monthly EMA confluence and monthly trend is uptrend. Okay, this is about a bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next we will look into bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry time frame, daily, entry zone, supply zone, and also bullish or bearish at daily time frame. I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement, violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score 12. With these filters, we got only 3 stocks. So these 3 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. And entry time frame zones are daily supply zones. We got 3 stocks. Let's verify out of these 3 how many are having high probability to get success. First filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is daily and weekly supply zone confluence. I enable the filter. All 3 stocks are filtered. That means in all the 3 stocks, these daily supply zones are overlapped with weekly supply zone. But weekly trend is down in all the 3 stocks. So let's verify if any of the 3 stocks weekly supply zones are having weekly EMA confluence. Two stocks are filtered. So these 2 daily supply zones are having more high probability to get success. Maybe that is the reason why. See, the first one is already tested 2 times. Second one is also tested 2 times, including rejection. 3 times it is tested. Okay, next we will look into LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone Confluence supported stocks. I am removing EMA filter. In the supply zone Confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled, daily with weekly supply zone Confluence. Next, daily and monthly supply zone Confluence. Weekly and monthly supply zone Confluence, all 3 filters are enabled. Now we got all 3 stocks again. That means in all the 3 stocks, these daily supply zones are overlapped with weekly supply zone, and both together again overlapped with monthly supply zone. But monthly trend is down in only one stock. So in this stock, if monthly supply zone is having monthly EMA Confluence, then the overlapped daily supply zone might be having more high probability to get success. Let's verify. In the EMA Confluence at monthly time frame, I am checking monthly supply zone is having monthly EMA Confluence. At the same time, trend on the monthly should not be sideways. It should be downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. So with these filters, we got that one stock. So this daily supply zone is having more high probability to get success. It's already tested once. Okay, this is bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Next, we will look into weekly income trade reports. For bullish trade setup for weekly income trade, entry time frame 75 minutes, entry zone demand zone, bullish or bearish trade setup at 75 minutes, I am selecting bullish. Zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12. And also this 75 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means pierced count should be 0. Pierced count 0 means the zone should not be pierced. Which zone? 75 minutes demand zone. Let's filter. We got 6 stocks. All 6 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. And entry time frame zones are bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. And entry time frame zones are 75 minutes demand zones. So we got 6 75 minutes demand zones. Out of these 6, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on the zone confluence. First filter LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is 75 minutes and daily demand zone confluence. So I am enabling the filter 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. By setting this filter, we got 4 stocks. In these 4 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones are overlapped with daily demand zone. And daily trend is up in all the stocks because it is bullish trade setup. ITF trend, that is nothing but daily trend. So let's verify EMA confluence on the daily time frame. So in the EMA confluence at daily time frame, I am checking daily demand zone having daily EMA confluence. two stocks are there. So that's why these two 75 minutes demand zones, because they are overlapped with daily demand zones. So these two stocks are having more high probability to get success. Maybe that is the reason why this zone is already tested 4 times. But RR is not good. If you fine tune deep inside, you may get some RR. Okay, anyway, this is based on LTF and ITF demand zone confluence and ITF EMA confluence. Next, we will look into LTF, ITF and even HTF demand zone confluence supported stocks. Removing EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is 75 with daily demand zone, already it is enabled. Next 75 with weekly demand zone confluence, daily with weekly demand zone confluence. By enabling all the 3 filters, we did not get any stocks. Weekly, daily, weekly 75 and daily week 75. Always look into this demand zone confluence. Okay. So this is bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame 75 minutes. Entry zone, supply zone. Bullish or bearish trade setup at 75 minutes. Selecting bearish. Zone achievement VOZ, minimum odd enhancer score 12, and also 75 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter at 75 minutes time frame, setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters, we got 10 stocks. All 10 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame zones are 75 minutes supply zones. We got 10 75 minute supply zones. Out of these 10, we should further filter based on high probability to get success. That we will filter based on zone confluence. First filter LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is 75 minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. So I am enabled the filter. With this filter, we got 10 stocks. In all the 10 stocks, the 75 minute supply zones are overlapped with the daily supply zone. And daily trend is down in all the stocks, ITF trend. So let's verify if any of the daily supply zones are having daily EMA confluence. In that case, the overlapped 75 minute supply zones might be having even more high probability to get success. So I am going back in the EMA confluence at a daily time frame. I am checking daily supply zone having daily EMA confluence or not. Anyway, daily trend is down in all the stocks. We got 5 stocks. So in these 5 stocks, these 75 minute supply zones might be having more high probability to get success. Okay, next, let's filter based on LTF, ITF and even HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. Removing EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. The first filter is 75 with daily, already enabled. Next 75 with weekly supply zone confluence. Daily and weekly supply zone confluence with all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF, supply zone confluence. We got 6 stocks. In all the 6 stocks, these 75-minute supply zones are overlapped with daily supply zone. Both together again overlapped with weekly supply zone. And weekly trend is down in 3 stocks, second, third and sixth. Out of those 3, if any of the weekly supply zones are having weekly EMA confluence, then these overlapped 75-minute supply zones might be having more high probability to get success. Let's filter them. In the EMA confluence, at a weekly time frame, I am checking weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. At the same time, the trend on the weekly should not be sideways. It should be downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. Now we got 3 stocks. All 3 are filtered. So all these 3 stocks are having even more high probability for especially these 75-minute supply zones. Okay, this is bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next, we will look into daily income trade. Daily income trade, bullish trade setup, entry time frame 15 minutes, entry zone, demand zone. In bullish or bearish at 15 minutes time frame, I am selecting bullish. And zone achievement, violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score is 12. And also the 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count, at 15 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means pierced count is 0. Pierced count 0 means the zone is not pierced. Which zone? Here we selected 15 minutes demand zone. So 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. See, all the filters are applied to whatever you have selected those zones. See, zone achievement, minimum odd enhancer, all the filters are applied to 15 minutes demand zone. They won't be applied to 15 minutes supply zone. Whatever you select, on that zone only filters will be applied. If you don't select any zone, filters will be applied to any one of those zones. So that's why selecting the zone is very, very important, mainly for the applying these filters. Okay, let's filter. We got 8 stocks. These 8 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade. And entry time frame zones are 15 minutes demand zones. Total we got 8 15 minutes demand zones. Out of these 8 15 minutes demand zones, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on the zone confluence. First filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. I enable the filter. Out of 8, 6 are filtered. So these 6 demand zones, which demand zones? 15 minutes demand zones. These 6 15 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. And 75 minutes trend is up in all the stocks. So let's verify if any of the 75 minutes demand zones are having daily EMA confluence. In that case, the overlapped 15 minutes demand zones might be having more high probability to get success. So I am going back in the EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame. I am selecting the filter 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA. With this filter, we got 3 stocks. So these 3 15 minutes demand zones might be having more high probability to get success. Maybe that is the reason why Birla Soft is already tested 4 times and IDFC First Bank is already tested once. Okay. Next we will look into LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence supported stocks. That is 15 minutes, 75 minutes and daily demand zone Confluence. I am removing EMA filter. In the demand zone Confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled. Next, 15 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone Confluence. 75 and daily demand zone Confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 2 stocks. So in these 2 stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. Both together again overlapped with daily demand zone. But daily trend is up in only one stock. That's why let us apply in this stock the daily demand zone having daily EMA Confluence. If that is the case, the overlapped 15 minutes demand zone might be having more high probability to get success. So let's filter. In the EMA Confluence at a daily time frame, I am checking daily demand zone having daily EMA Confluence. At the same time, the trend on the daily should not be sideways. It should be uptrend because it is bullish trade setup. So that one stock is filtered. That means this 15 minutes demand zone, which is overlapped inside the daily demand zone, is having more high probability to get success. Of course, other parameters, the checklist, what you learned in lesson 20, that should support. You can't blindly take trades. How to take all these trades, if you are not aware, please complete lesson 29. In lesson 29, one of the videos I have explained daily zones. How to take NeoStock Software daily. I have explained for all the income trades, daily, weekly and monthly income trades. You have to complete all the 3 video lessons, including their performance evaluation videos. So total 6 videos you have to complete. Okay, next we will look into, this is bullish trade setup for daily income trade. Next we will look into bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry time frame 15 minutes, entry zone supply zone, bullish or bearish trade setup at 15 minutes time frame. I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement, violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score should be 12. And also this 15 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter, here we have pierced count parameter. At 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters, we got 8 stocks. So these 8 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade. And entry time frame zones are 15 minute supply zones. All these are all entry time frame supply zones. These are the 15 minute supply zones. Out of these 8 15 minute supply zones, how many are having more high probability to get success? That we will filter based on the zone confluence, supply zone confluence. First filter is a 15 minute supply zone with 75 minute supply zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. So by applying this filter on the 8 stocks, we got all 8 stocks. All 8 stocks are having supply zone 15 minutes and 75 minutes supply zone confluence. That means all these 15 minute supply zones are overlapped with 75 minute supply zones. And 75 minutes trend is down in all the stocks, ITF trend. So that's why let's verify if any of the 75 minute supply zones are having 15 minutes, daily EMA confluence. If that is the case, the overlapped 15 minute supply zones might be having more high probability to get success. So I'm going back in the EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame. I'm checking the filter 75 minutes supply zone having daily EMA confluence. Anyway, 75 minutes trend is down in all the stocks. 2 stocks are filtered. So these 2 supply zones are having more high probability to get success. So this one is already tested once. Okay, next we will look into LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone Confluence supported stocks. Removing EMA filter. In the supply zone Confluence, we should set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled. Next 15 minutes and daily supply zone Confluence. 75 minutes and daily supply zone Confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got 4 stocks. So in these 4 stocks, these 15-minute supply zones are overlapped with 75-minute supply zone, both together again overlapped with daily supply zone, and daily trend is down in only one stock. If this stock is having daily supply zone with daily EMA Confluence, then this overlapped 15-minute supply zone might be having more high probability to get success. Let's verify. In the EMA Confluence at daily, I am checking daily supply zone having daily EMA Confluence. At the same time, trend on the daily should not be sideways, it should be downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. So that one stock is filtered. So that means this 15-minute supply zone is having even more high probability to get success. So this is about a bearish trade setup for a daily income trade. Next we will generate hourly income trade stocks. For hourly income trade, bullish trade setup, entry time frame 5 minutes, entry zone, demand zone, bullish or bearish trade setup at 5 minutes entry time frame. I am selecting bullish. Zone achievement, violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12, and also 5 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 5 minutes time frame, minimum value I am setting 0, maximum value 0. That means pierced count should be 0. Pierced count 0 means this 5 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. We got only 2 stocks. Bullish trade setup for hourly income trade. Let's check any high probability trade setup supported demand zones are available. First 5 minutes and 15 minutes demand zone Confluence, let's verify. So both are filtered. Out of 3, 2 are filtered. Let's check if any of these 2, because the trend is up. 15 minutes demand zone is having daily EMA Confluence. So none of the stocks are having EMA Confluence. I am removing the filter and let us check LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone Confluence. That is 5 minutes, 15 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone Confluence. First filter enabled. 5 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone Confluence. 15 minutes and 75 minutes demand zone Confluence. With all the 3 filters, we did not get any stock. So none of the stocks are having all the 3 demand zone Confluence. Okay, this is bullish trade setup for hourly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. Entry time frame 5 minutes, entry zone, supply zone. Bullish or bearish at 5 minutes, I am selecting bearish. Zone achievement VOZ, minimum odd enhancer score 12, and also 5 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 5 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With these filters, we got more stocks. First 15 stocks in the list supporting bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. Scrolling the list down, total 23 stocks are filtered. All 23 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. And entry time frame zones are 5-minute supply zones. We have 23 5-minute supply zones are available. Out of these 23, how many are having ITF, LTF and ITF supply zone confluence? That is 5 minutes and 15-minute supply zone confluence supported stocks. So in the supply zone confluence, I am enabling the filter 5-minute supply zone with 15-minute supply zone confluence. By applying the filter on the 23 stocks, now the list is come down to 18 stocks. So first 15 stocks in the list. In all these stocks, these 5-minute supply zones are overlapped with 15-minute supply zone. Scrolling the list down, total 18 stocks are filtered. All 5-minute supply zones overlapped with 15-minute supply zone. And 15-minute trend is down in all the stocks, ITF trend. So let's verify any of the 15-minute supply zones are having daily EMA confluence. If that is the case, the overlapped 5-minute supply zone inside the 15-minute supply zone might be having more high probability to get success. So in the EMA confluence at 15 minutes time frame, I am checking 15-minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence or not. So 2 stocks are filtered. So these two 15-minute supply zones might be having more high probability compared to the other stocks. But this is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. Next we will look into LTF, ITF and even HTF supply zone confluence supported stocks. I am removing EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled, that is 5 minutes with 15-minute supply zone confluence. Next 5 minutes and 75-minute supply zone confluence. 15 minutes and 75-minute supply zone confluence. By enabling all the 3 filters, 5 minutes, 15 minutes and 75-minute supply zone confluence, we got 7 stocks. That means in all the 7 stocks, these 5-minute supply zones are fine-tuned supply zones inside 75 minutes time frame. That means these 5-minute supply zones overlapped with 15-minute supply zone. Both together again overlapped with 75-minute supply zone. And 75 minutes trend is down in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stocks out of 7. And any of those 5 stocks, those 75 minute supply zones are having a daily EMA confluence, then the overlapped 5-minute supply zones might be having even more high probability to get success. Let's verify. The EMA confluence at 75 minutes time frame, checking 75 minute supply zone having daily EMA confluence. At the same time, trend on the 75 minutes should not be sideways, it should be downtrend because it is bearish trade setup. Let's filter. So 3 stocks are filtered. So these 3 5-minute supply zones might be having more high probability to get success. Maybe that is the reason why this stock is already tested and moving towards the demand zone already. So this is bearish trade setup for hourly income trade. And in the final report, let us generate stop buffers based on daily ATR. All these are all stop buffers. And the first 17 in this list are indices, remaining all are equity stocks. So I am scrolling the list down. Whichever the stock you want to refer, there pause the video. Okay, I am scrolling the list down. So this is the end of the report. Hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let's all meet again in our next video. Thank you.